We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Aeneas Peebles, Virginia Tech defensive lineman. Most underrated D tackle I've seen so far. Like, dude, this guy deserves so much more, like, credit through, like, the big media, because this guy is a violent, disruptive pass rusher. Like, look at some of these reps. He gets upfield. His motor is constantly running hot. I think, maybe for some reason he's not getting as much exposure as he should be, is because he's pretty undersized, being 6'1", 290. I do think him being short does help him in certain situations with like playing with natural leverage. Really like his pass rush ability. Like he'll beat you in multiple different ways. He knows how to get after the passer, plays with good technique, understands like how to get into the backfield, beat you in multiple different ways, and using his leverage, his motor to his advantage. It's constantly going. And then he has some pretty flashy plays versus the run. I think he needs to show more consistency there. But you can clearly see the potential as a run defender, using his natural leverage to get off blocks, and then playing with those violent, aggressive hands like in those situations like that. We'll go back. The spin move, it's all over the film. Very comfortable working the spin move. His timing of it, his feel for like the momentum and leverage of opponents. He feels this guy shoot out. Boom. You get that ice pick behind him. Now you get that right hand to the back of his, and you're spinning, and he's just under control too. His great balance, which is always a big thing. He's a low center of gravity player, and those guys always have pretty good balance, which he does. Moves super well. Get after Cam Ward, finish for a sack. I think sometimes his limited size and length can cause him to miss some tackles in the backfield on whether it's quarterbacks, running backs, because he's constantly getting into the backfield. Finishing, I think, can be a big part of it, but we're here he's able to finish, get down. I feel like, to me, he's going to be a guy that maybe is more of a rotational piece early on in his career as like a pass rusher, and then if he can develop as a more consistent run defender, he can be a guy that becomes a full-time player for you. But here's just another look at this spin move, man. Like the timing of it, the natural feel. Like he knows when to use this too. And here he is as a 2-eye. Feels 72 step forward hit towards him. Flashes the left hand. Once 72 shoots his hand out, boom, you time it perfectly. Ice pick. Under control. It's just smooth as well. No time wasted. Also, look at the running back. Try to throw some late hands on him. He's not affected by that. Like, really good core strength. Working through contact is a good ability. And I think it has to do with that natural low center of gravity. And then here, just realize, like, hey, the quarterback's going to try to throw this away. Get your hands up. Knock that ball down. Really good work from Peebles. But can also win in other ways. He's got that quickness. I think he's just a natural 3-tech, like a disruptive, small pass rush 3-tech type. Here he is shooting off the ball. Good first step. He's got a nice shake to him. Here he hits him with the 1-2 kind of step. Gets 64 to shoot his hands. He hits the club swim move. Really good hand placement. I think his hands are like show good timing. They're precise with it. Their placement. Get that left hand. Once you go arm over, you want to get the hand to the back of the elbow, because then you lock their arm there. They can't reset. And then the forces, like, he wins so quickly, forces the ball to really go out as fast as it possibly can. But you can just see, like, the reps that he can win that quick are just so special. Really enjoy watching people play. He can also work some twists and stunts. If you're a team that likes to go pretty stunt heavy, he's a guy that will play aggressive, violent downhill. Like, you want him to be your crash guy, he's going to go and try to take out the lineman as much as he can, because he takes 67 with him. And he's so quick that 67's like, oh, I got to bring my whole body with him to get there. And then he takes 66 out of the play, and then leaves this guy looping unblocked. He also still creates so much pressure and push into the backfield that one can't step up into the pocket. Just really just disruptive player. Really like this usage that I think he can have as a part of his game. And I think, there's a lot of teams in the NFL. I'm a Dolphins fan, and they work a lot of stunts, and that's probably a play that would get me really excited for him as like a scheme fit, especially in like pass rush situations. Like here's another example of him stunting to the inside. Looks like there's a little bit of a miscommunication, but from Miami up front, like with how they're getting after this. But you can see him cross-face 67 so quick. Look at the push he creates on 66. Being able to split a double team too, especially when he's able to work downhill. I think sometimes maybe he could struggle to anchor them. But man, when he works downhill, like motor is running so hot. He is violent. He is working everything he can to get after the quarterback. He has some good hip flexibility and bend to his game as well, like to get to finish sometimes if he needs to. But here's another example. Like, man, he's so lightning. Like, I love the lightning quickness. Like when he takes out jab step to like basically exchange gaps, like he gets like that first step is so good, and then he gets downhill, work through contact pretty well, keeping low pad level, just really constricting those pocket lanes. Like, there's nowhere to step up for Cam Ward in the pocket in those situations. And I mean, that turns into completion there, but in a lot of situations, that's the process of this play is so good that in other situations it will lead to a better result for the defense, because QBs will make mistakes the more they feel that type of pressure. And then versus the run, like, I feel like he, for the most part, does a lot of like good jobs in these situations. Like, here's getting down block from 67. He does a good job of actually not getting washed out of his gap, staying in control, integrity. He's able to get in the backfield. Now, I would like to see him finish. Like, as I was saying, sometimes, like, he has to be in like the perfect position to make a lot of these tackles, because he does have the limited arm length. He does disrupt this play and force 5 to make like an extra bounce, but his teammates aren't kind of there to finish it. So, like, there's some good to those types of plays. Here's Peebles firing off the ball. He can also just shoot with a bull rush. Like, look at the leverage here. Look how low he is. A lot of guys that get this low will end up working to the ground, but Peebles able to maintain some like speed while being that low and some power is very impressive, because you want to be lower, but sometimes when you get too low, you lose that speed and power, but he's able to contain that. Another example of just turning and opening up his right guard. And another situation where Ward can't step up into the pocket. Ball is now slightly inaccurate, and then the running back's not able to hang on to it. It's just another situation where he is impacting plays, play after play. Here he is actually working through a bit of a double team. Like, I feel like, for a guy that you think, if you look at his listed size and how he plays, he'd be a guy that usually struggles versus them, but he fights through them. Like, if you don't absolutely destroy him off the ball, like, he's going to fight, continue to work. He takes off. Now he gets to the ground, isn't able to make the play again, but he's the first one in the backfield to disrupt it. Would like to see him finish more versus the run, but that initial disruption is there a lot of the time. And he's able to shed off there, get help from the linebacker. You give him a one-on-one like this versus like a weaker center, he's going to stack and shed. This is nice to see too, because I do think he's definitely more of a one-gap penetrating type of player. But for him to take control at the point of attack here, fully extend, sort of, get control of this A-gap here, peak, and once the running back, declares that he's going to work to the backside of you, you're able to shed off of it, peel off, and get back into your secondary gap. That is nice, I think, to see. It's not something that he did a ton of, but at least it's there, so it's something that's a possibility from him if you do end up working that type of system. Like, here's a really good rep. Like, look at this. Like, look at how low he is. Look at the wide base, the bend in his knees. Look at him use that left arm to just torque and shed that center. He has such a good feel for, like, leverage and momentum of other players and how to use it against them, because he just throws guys off him. Once he because he's ready to shoot through this gap, and once he sees the center is pulling this way, he knows the flow of this play is going to go that way. So he's able to feel that, throw the guard off of him, arm over, take on the tight end as well that's working through, throw him out of the way, just completely blow this play up, because he recognizes center pulling, realizes he can throw that guard away. He even slows down the tackle too, because that his angle was kind of off and he kind of got tripped over him. He then also takes the tight end from taking on someone else. Like, he just took everyone out of this play and helped make that tackle for loss. Like, he is so disruptive. And it's the spin move again, man. Like, his spin moves are so good. Doesn't finish this time, but you can just see how natural and fluid he is. Look at him get his elbow to the back of that elbow. Since he does that, 67 has no chance to recover here. You can't just completely bring your elbow back up and get into the chest of Peebles there. Doesn't finish, but the guys that forces the guy off his pocket again. Just really fun player to watch. I feel like he deserves a lot more credit. He can also just get past you with some quickness. Like here, boom, hits like the chop to the outside. That's another move in his book. We've seen the speed to power. We've seen the spin move. We've seen the arm over. Now we're seeing some, chop to dips to rips, which is something he's definitely capable of. I think that fits into his size. Here's another example of him doing it, just winning around the edge. Winning like he's a defensive end here, going versus a right tackle, basically, to the outside half. Like, boom, hit the chop. Guy wins around, and then now he's able to rip underneath, strain through, show some bend, throw that right elbow back to open up your hips to get after the quarterback, and force him off his spot. That's just something that's constant there. But I was saying, I really think he's really disruptive versus the run. He feels 69 get too far over the top. This right guard, he's like, okay, this guy's playing too far over the top. I feel that leverage, just a natural instinct as a player. Hit that arm over, use his leverage against him, and then don't get widened. Because sometimes when guys do this, they do like that arm over in this situation. Sometimes, like, you look like you're going to win this rep, but sometimes this person will stay on their feet and say, well, and then wash you down, because if they're on your low hip, it is hard to win, and they can wash you out of the play enough. But he's able to stay on his feet, great balance, and then get back down quickly, so he's able to get onto the running back into the backfield. Because sometimes people will take themselves out of the play doing that type of thing, but Peebles still wins a lot of those reps, which is nice to see. And there's another him just winning versus the run, good feel. He shoots upfield, gets control of his man right here. He peeks into the backfield, sees where the mesh point's aiming. He knows to peel off to the inside. This guy's not going to cut to the outside just based on his aiming points, and then he's able to peel off, help make that tackle. Plenty of good reps versus the run, but really it's the pass rush ability. Like you can see, it feels like he's already reached his ceiling as a pass rusher. Like he's got all the pass rush moves down. I don't think he's gonna just magically become even better at it. Like because it feels like he's sort of like this is his like max peak athleticism. He's not gonna. He's already not the biggest guy. It feels like he's already like really just like a high floor pass rush guy that can still even improve though. Like overall as a run defender too. But to me, high floor player. I don't know where he'll go in the draft. Sometimes these guys drop because of the people have size concerns. He won't fit every single scheme. But I feel like if whoever ends up drafting him is just gonna get a player that makes impact plays in the interior as a disruptor if he ends up in the right situation, which that's pretty much the case for most players. But he's the guy that if you get him in as your 3 tech, you need a 3 tech that's your 1 gapping, disruptive, get upfield type. Peebles is going to make some impact plays for you. So if you guys are too much like, comment, subscribe,